I've always had trouble making good scrambled eggs at home. They turn out rubbery, you get big chunks of egg, there's this weird uneven texture that I don't like. A lot of recipes will tell you to put in milk or to put in cornstarch, but I try to avoid both of those things. And so I don't end up making scrambled eggs. Then a couple of years ago, I got this hilarious book, a super upsetting cookbook about sandwiches, and one of the recipes changed the way that I make scrambled eggs.
Let's spend time with Marco, but the food is the star, so it's probably worth sharing.
Hello, I'm Marco, and welcome to my home kitchen. Today I want to show you how to make creamier scrambled eggs with these 4 techniques. You can try one of them, you can try all 4 together, but each of them will change the quality of the scrambled eggs that you're making. Today's recipe is really simple. It's 4 eggs, a little bit of butter, and some salt. Eggs are also super fast and super affordable. So this whole recipe should take you less than 5 minutes and cost you $1 to $3 per person, depending on the quality of the eggs that you buy. In the book, author Tyler Cord says he doesn't know the science behind why this works, so I looked it up. Without getting too sciencey, when you beat eggs, you are breaking up the proteins so that they can recombine in the form of a mesh. That mesh is going to trap air and water, and doing it in a blender is going to do that better than you can do by hand with a fork. Now, that mesh network you created by beating the eggs needs to set, and eggs will set between 140 and 160 Fahrenheit. Water will boil at 212 Fahrenheit. So you want to try to keep the temperature below the water boiling point so that things stay creamy and fluffy instead of tight and rubbery. If you cook it too high of a temperature, the water is going to boil out of the mesh network, and that's what creates kind of dry, claggy, rubbery eggs. The first tip here is use a blender. I like making eggs in an immersion blender. It's really easy to wash and really easy to use, and it's perfect for doing a small amount. But you can totally do this in a normal blender. You can do this with a fine mesh sieve. So to get started, crack your eggs into your container. And blend. It usually only takes about 30 seconds, and it gives you this completely uniform texture inside. You can't tell that there's any difference between the egg whites and the egg yolks. So the second tip is to cook low and slow. And this is going to give you control over the final texture of the scrambled eggs. This is one of those situations where you really should use a good nonstick pan. I'm going to add just a small amount of butter. And you just want to melt it until it starts foaming. Once it starts foaming, pour your eggs in, which leads to the third tip: stir more often than you think. Egg yolks and egg whites set at different temperatures. So you want to slowly combine them through the cooking process so that you get an even, uniform texture. So if you want these to be really creamy, silky, pourable eggs, you want to stir the entire time this is happening. If you want to have thicker, fluffier bits of scrambled egg, then you can stop stirring for a couple of seconds before stirring again. What's happening as you stir is you're moving the really hot pieces of egg that are closest to the pan to the top where the cooler parts of the egg are. So you're balancing the texture. The fourth technique is to take your eggs off the heat early. Now, as you look at your eggs, you might see that there's not much liquid left remaining. That's the point where you want to take them off the heat. Carryover cooking is going to continue cooking them as you move them onto a plate or put them in a sandwich. So if you wait until they're fully done in the pan, they're going to be overcooked and dry when you're serving them. These are almost done. You'll see there's barely any liquid visible left in the pan, and that's when you want to take them off the heat. They're going to continue to cook as they sit, and that's how easy it is to make scrambled eggs. So I mean, that happened in like 2 minutes. It's really easy to do this. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt and a little bit of white pepper. And let's give these a taste. Texture-wise, these have been sitting for a few minutes, but you can see they're still very creamy, very silky. Oh my God. They're really, really good. The texture tastes like they're like 50% cream, but it's only eggs in the recipe. And that is the main reason to use your blender for this process. I hope you try this out. The effort to reward ratio is completely off the charts. They're so tasty, and I'd love to hear if you try it out, if you think it's worth the effort of washing a blender. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.
So it's probably worth sharing.